This episode is brought to you by Novilla Mattresses. When it comes to your mother, you want her sleeping in a comfortable bed. When she's with me, she won't have to worry about that because I sleep on a Novilla mattress. Let me tell you, when your mom is at my place, she is sleeping on a very comfortable mattress and she is going to get you one as well. Meet their Bliss Organic Memory Foam Mattress. Perfect for those who want a cool, dry, undisturbed sleep throughout the night, made with organic bamboo charcoal fiber, excellent motion isolation, cooling gel-infused memory foam that fits all bed frames and is reasonably priced. Perfect for if you want an inexpensive mattress for you, your children, or even for your guest room. It comes in a box delivered right to your door, and you get 100 nights to try it out. Skip that trip to the big box mattress store and get a mattress from Novilla. Throw out that cheap Walmart mattress you got in college and get yourself a mattress made by Novilla. Using promo code Schweezy or the link in our description, you can save 10% on any purchase through Novilla directly. Try out the mattress that your mom tried out last night. Again, that's 10% off using promo code Schweezy. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. Hello, my fellow Schwoke Lords, and what is up? Welcome to yet another episode of Cancel Schweezy, better known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. What is going on, everybody? How's it going?
Ooh, bitch, get out my fucking way. It's Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month to everyone out there. We're almost Black History Month's almost done. We're getting really close, guys. We're almost done with Black History Month. It's almost over now. It's good. Hope y'all learned something new this month about black people. Learn something new about a black person today, folks. You know, that's what you gotta do.
That's my whole. That's where it's.
I am, and there's like those black stereotypes. This is gonna go wrong really quick. There are those black stereotypes. We know what they are. If not, go to another YouTube channel really quick and then come back to Cancel Schweezy. But it's like big dick. They're like big dick. Hey, don't make that assumption. Not all black guys have big dicks. I'm like, just let that one slide. The fried chicken one's kind of weird because I'm like, everyone like, who doesn't? Isn't like fried chicken like an everyone thing? Like. I mean, and it's also like, and I was trying to think here, I just had like a million different thoughts, but like, well, you also say like Asian people eat rice with everything, and I'm like, rice is good too. I like rice. You can't be, but I guess I don't know about more black people make fried chicken. I feel like white people make just as much fried chicken as black people. This
is the type of guy you get.
Welcome to the show, folks. You guys remember Dragon Tales? That was a weird fucking show. Not bad, but it was fucking weird. What was it? It's weird. It's unhinged. It's not. Is it unhinged? Is unhinged the word I want to go with? Is Dragon Tales unhinged? I wouldn't think so. But like, here's where the weird shit in this show goes to. Like it's a good, and I'll say this first, like it's a good show because it actually taught, like, I think, most kid shows were like, or like those kind of kid shows were like, they're all usually kind of educational, where other shows would do more like school stuff. This was more like feelings teaching. That was pretty cool. It's probably why millennials are like, we're like, let's take care of our anxiety, folks. And kids today are like, I got to take a mental health break or whatever. No, but like, so they went to a different dimension of dragon people. Like, that's how, like, Max and Rudy, it's not Max and Rudy. It's, I know one of them's Max. They go to Dragonland, where they're transported. So they're transported to a different dimension or alternate universe where dragons are people. So that's, like, that's also a thing. The grandpa dragon is Mexican, which is weird because I'm thinking, like, this is a whole other world where dragons are basically the people. And there's just like, there's one still from Mexico. Like, you know, and I was thinking like, oh, maybe it's exactly like ours, except the humans are dragons. Maybe that's something. Maybe that's something too. The Mexican grandpa dragon. You know, because you think Dragonland, is Dragonland the same as the like North America? I'll just say North America. Like, is it the same? Or is Dragonland a whole different geographical structure? It's just more questions than answers going on there. Oh yeah, and then there's like some dragons. Just because you're a dragon does not mean God won't make you with a disability. There was one dragon in a wheelchair. Remember that? Like, you have wings. Like, I think it was just his leg was broken. Like, it was just his leg that was broken. And he also had wings. Like, the dragons can all fly. But this dragon can't walk. Which, like, I mean, like you think about birds, there's like, a bird could probably fly and also not be able to walk. So it's not, like, uncommon. But I guess I never thought about, I guess it would make sense. Maybe the wheelchair does make sense. There's, like, in a wheelchair. And then there was, like, the conjoined twin dragons. It was, like, two dragons that share one body. And there may be some, like, old dragon history thing about that. But when I but there were, you know, it would be like, okay, they're just conjoined. That's just, you know, that's how shit works in this world. But then they had an entire episode about, like, they were able to do some magic and they were both able to get their own bodies, which, you know, I don't know a lot of conjoined twins. Actually, I know zero. But I would assume if I met some conjoined twins, you know, as much as their sisters or I've only seen women. I've never seen the guys, to be honest with you. I've never seen a guy conjoined twin. I'm not going to Google it either. That, you know, like, they make a wish and they get separate. Oh, yeah, if you're a conjoined twin, no matter how much you love your conjoined sibling, having your own body would be a dream come true. These dragons get it, and they're like, "Nah, let's go back together." I'm like, that's not a good message for conjoined twins. You know, the fact that, like, you know, life's better if we're attached. You know, if God made a miracle happen and we were able to separate, like, you know, it would be our dream come true. That'd be our one wish. And not because we hate each other, because it'd be nice to have just your own fucking body and shit like that. But these dragons were like, no, that's not going on here. So yeah, that was a rant. Well, welcome to Cancel Schweezy. The only podcast that is going to present these nuts in your mouth. Yeah, that's right. Got ya.
Got it!
And also that, but it's President's Day, so if you're watching the show on YouTube, you can see it. But if you're not watching, I want to show you. I'm not behind a green screen. This is 100% not a green screen. This is real. I'm in the actual Oval Office making a podcast. Joe told me it was okay if I use it for this. Some of you are asking who's Joe, and I'm like, Joe Mama. Nah, Joe Biden. That's the president. He's letting me use the Oval Office to record podcasts. Why are you not recording behind the desk? Why are you recording in this weird angle where you see the desk behind you? Shut the fuck up, okay? I don't want to hear that shit. It's already hard enough to record a podcast in the Oval Office. It's not my fault that you want to draw holes and, you know, find plot holes in this podcast. It's not my problem. It's not my problem, okay? But anyways, I started thinking about, like, President's Day, and I was like, trying to think, like, is it, because there's national holidays and then there's just, like, holidays. So those, you know, this may be a United States thing only. I don't know how other countries work with that. When I took world history, I learned about, like, the French Rebellion, Russia, England, France. Maybe some others. I don't remember those. But, like, the real countries, you know. I'm so sorry. Oh, German. We did German, too. The white people countries. Conveniently. We went over that. So, like, we went over all that. So, and then you learn so I did take world history. That was the long one. So, in, like, you know, and I took a class. It was, like, so, like, a federal holiday is technically like a holiday you could get off work for, or which this is like a government recognized. So, and it's weird because if it's a government agency like the post office, the bank, and stuff like that, like that makes sense. Why we would refer to it as a federal holiday, meaning the government will let you take work off for it. Like that's the reason. And then holidays are just they're holidays. Like it was National Hippo Day on February 15th this year. So wish your mother a happy Hippo Day. Oh. But yeah, so like those are just like holidays. So Christmas Eve is a religious holiday, meaning the government's not going to close work for the post office isn't going to close. But December 25th, that is a federal holiday. So like federal offices will be closed on those days. So that's why I don't know. Is President's Day one of them? Because doesn't it fall like this? No, I think they celebrate it. Yeah, no, it's a normal one. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we recently had our milk episode. That's a federal holiday for that. So, but like Easter's not a federal holiday. Like Easter's a normal day for normies. But like so I was like wondering like how does it become a holiday? And it's like, oh yeah, doesn't the president sign it? And it's not like a thing people need to vote on because it's just a federal holiday, I guess, or I don't know, something like that, where the president can do it and it's just like what the president can do. So I looked it up and I was like, so I looked up. So here's what I wrote in my notes. This is from we do a Google search and it gives you like a written answer that seems like by Google, but it's by something else, and they just have something help it. So here's what I found. In the United States, a federal holiday is one that is recognized by Congress and is designated in Title V of the U.S. Code 6103 Holidays, which allows Congress the authority to create holidays for federal institutions. So I guess that's when that happened. That's when it was started. So my explanation was basically 100% correct. But okay, and I was like, okay, but like, so that's how like holidays are created. And I was like, and it needs the president too, or whatever. I don't know. I think it needs the president. So then I wrote that. I'm like, what president's like? Let's have a President's Day. He's just kind of. I'm like, today. All right, the 14th of every August. That's my birthday. That's Schweezy Day, a day in which we celebrate Schweezy. And you're like, okay, that's a holiday, but it's not like Bird Memorial Day, the anniversary when a bird died in my high school band room. That is not a federal holiday, but Schweezy Day, my birthday. That's not going to be a federal holiday. But I'm like, if I was president, I'm like, I'm going to make that, like Schweezy Day, and then like. Donald Trump, I'm surprised he didn't think, be like, let's have a Donald Trump Day. But anyway, so I'm like, so what president's like signing off on this, for President's Day? I see in 1862, Lincoln issued a proclamation declaring February 22nd a day of celebration honoring Washington. A federal holiday on February 22nd was officially passed into law in 1879. And then there's tell me links and shit like that. So anyways, though, that's, so Lincoln was the one he's like, it's for Washington. I'm like, right, brother. I'm like, who are you? You think of president, you're like, George Washington, he was the first one. You're like, Abraham Lincoln, he was a big one. Like, he did something big. You think like Abraham Lincoln, and then you're like, if you're thinking like old presidents, then you're like, Thomas Jefferson, he made the Louisiana Purchase. So I was like, but you think Lincoln though, but Lincoln was the one who made this holiday, so that's funny. That's some funny shit. What's not funny is my music, wherever you stream music. I know, where you stream music, and follow me on social media at TheSchweezy. Don't forget that. I know you're like, he wasn't going to get into it. I'm getting into it. Make sure you're following me on social media. Check out Twitch, twitch.tv/TheSchweezy on Thursdays and maybe some other days. But usually Thursdays I will be streaming. I do not know what games I'm going to be playing currently. Maybe the Minish Cap, Zelda. Maybe doing more Pokemon, shiny hunting. I don't know. I'll figure out what I want to do. Maybe I'm going to be making it more like a just chatting type of stream instead of a like me playing a game stream where I play a game and then I talk and shit like that. And if I pause it and then come out, and stuff like that. And then make sure you check out, on Twitch, if you have an Amazon Prime account connected to your Twitch and get a Twitch Prime, subscribe to me because following me is free, but subscribing is usually $5, and that would take money out of Jeff Bezos' pocket. So,
come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
you can be, but another place you should be stingy. Patreon page is basically a great way to financially support us. Basically, a giant tip jar right now, and it's a great way to say thank you for being a friend. Like the free shit you should be doing. If there's free shit, you should be supporting Kansas Schweezy. We're infiltrating algorithms. This is what we're trying to do. Make sure if you're on the audio platform, check us out on YouTube. We're trying to grow up that page. Even if it's not your main form of listening, make sure you subscribe and check out our highlights as well. It's the shortened version of the show that you can send your friends instead of a time code in like Apple Podcasts. You know, it's just a little bit easier. And
I like that.
So. Yeah, but if you're on the audio platform, make sure you leave a review and give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating.
And I really like that.
So, let's get into it. That's how we do it. We do things a little different around here. Let's get into previous week right now. What is previous week right now? Well, it's last week. And it's Monday for me. It's going to be Wednesday when the episode drops, and then the future from there. I'm just going over the news. Does this segment age well? That's actually a good question. I've been doing this for... we're getting close to... it's like October 2020 I started this show. Oh, we're getting to the 3rd anniversary of Kansas Schweezy. We got... which makes sense why we're in the hundreds too, which means I'm being very consistent with this. We're just going to go over the news that I read last week and decided I want to talk to you about that. Come on, Philip DeFranco, let's do it.
Let's just jump into it.
This is from Scientific American. Am I a Scientific American? Yes, but I'm also not a scientist. But I am the smartest person all of you know, but I'm not a scientist. I just want to be humble. That's from Scientific American. Snakes can hear you scream, new research reveals.
What?
Experts have long understood that snakes can feel sound vibrations through the ground and what we call tactile sensing, but we puzzled over whether they can also hear airborne sound vibrations, and particularly over how they react to sounds. In a new paper published in PLOS1 PLOS 1, I'm going to say PLOS 1, we conclude snakes used hearing to help them interpret the world, and finally dispel the myth that snakes are deaf to airborne sound. Our research was included 19 different snakes from 7 species, reveals that not only do snakes have airborne hearing, but that different species react differently to what they hear. Although seeing and tasting the air are the main ways snakes sense the environment, our study highlights that hearing still plays an important role in snakes' temporary repertoire. This makes sense from an evolutionary perspective. Snakes are susceptible. Don't fucking laugh. To predators including monitor lizards, cats, dogs, and other snakes, hearing is an important sense of both predator avoidance and injury avoidance, such as being trodden. Using silence as our control, we played one of 3 sounds, each including a range of frequencies, 1 to 150 hertz, 150 to 300 hertz, and 300 to 450 hertz. For comparison, the human voice range is about 100 to 250 hertz, and bird chirp at about 8,000 hertz. Our study further debunks the myth that snakes are deaf. They can hear, just not as well as you or I. Snakes can only hear low frequencies, roughly below the 600 hertz mark, whereas most of us can hear a much wider range. Snakes probably hear muffled versions of what we do. So can snakes hear us? The frequency of the human voice is about 100 to 250 hertz. Depending on sex, the sound we played in our trials included these frequencies and were played at a distance of 1.2 meters from the snakes at 85 decibels. This is about the amplitude of a loud voice. The snake in our study responded to this sound and may significantly so it's possibly safe to say snakes can hear people speaking loudly or screaming. That doesn't mean they can't hear someone talking or normal conversations at about 60 decibels. We just didn't test sound at this noise level. Okay, so I think I paused at one point because I was like, do I want to explain what's going on now or a little bit later? So for those of you who don't know, this is weird because it's an audio platform. It's always better with a little visual too. Hearing me talk with a visual. But so it's saying 1 to 150 hertz. So that is a very low. So hertz basically means. So I don't know how to explain. I'm trying to explain this quickly because this is not like an entire video on this. But every note you hear, like if you hear a scale, every voice has a note, and that's a hertz. And with these hertz, or as my college professor, hertz, it's like the truck. It's like the trucking company. Basically, each note is a specific hertz, So, like, a lot of times you get a tune and you're like, A, 440. 440 equals hertz. So, like, hertz, that's, that's an A. And then you base everything off of that, how you would do a scale notes-wise. This is just basically how somehow humans have just agreed on this. Like, sheet music is one thing, too. Like, we all just agreed, like, this is how we all read music together. But like 8,000 hertz is like a super high. So that's like a bird chirping. And they said the human voice, 300 to 450 hertz, 100 to 200 hertz. Basically, that's basically what we're talking about there. But I always thought, like, and the reasoning is that, you always hear like snakes are more afraid of you than you are of it. Like, so non-venomous snakes and most snakes, are pretty scary. And like, I always thought they were scared because one, they have no way of hearing anything, to eat, and stuff like that. And their eyes are always on alert even when they're sleeping. So like that. So just like any sudden movement makes them move. I'm not into snakes, but I know a couple things, but I follow a snake on Instagram. Okay. I'm not perfect. Okay.
Man proposes and God
I'm not perfect. I follow a snake on Instagram. And what you always learn about, one thing I've really learned is like they can't hear. So like that's why weird movements, to catch predators always moves them. And snakes only bite you to like try to protect themselves. And that's what they're doing. And rattlesnakes are very, very scary. And they're very venomous too. So stuff like that. So I always thought that's kind of why they're always scared, just because they can't hear things. But I guess they can understand things. They're just mean. I think snakes are just mean, folks. That's weird though, because like, I think, why do you get a dog? I'm like, well, it's kind of like a kid, but like it's easier than a kid sometimes if I just decide not to make it behave properly, and then cats are like, they're kind of like kids, but they won't show you affection like dogs do, and stuff like that. Snakes are like, they don't show you affection, and they're not fun to sit on your lap either. So snakes are kind of buzzkills. So do not impress women with snakes. But if you're my friend and you have a child, I want them to get a pet snake. Those things are always cold. So that's why if you hold a snake, they're gonna try to like go into your clothes. It's because they're just like, it's just colder than it. That's why like temperature is very important to a snake. But they also eat like once a month. So like you can have a snake, you can go on tour for 2 weeks and come back and the snake will still be alive if the lights are on,
This is the type of guy you get.
Let's move on. All right. This is from the Kansas City Star. My neck of the woods was the big magazine of the town. It was like the Daily Bugle of the Kansas City metro small bum ass towns, So I guess in the Kansas City metro places at least 2 hours from Kansas City. Like this is the Daily Bugle, your daily planets and stuff like that. This was it. That was the Kansas City Star. Kansas City loves Mahomes and the Chiefs. Our kids didn't need to see them swill beer. I am not opposed to drinking, nor naive enough to think our football players don't drink. However, it is completely unnecessary to let Chiefs players drink during the Super Bowl parade. It should not have been allowed by Coach Andy Reid and the team's ownership for some very good reasons. The main reason is that a drinking Chief is not a good role model for young fans who are there to see their heroes. Second, even the adult fans don't want to see drunken players at this important celebration. Third, tragic things happen when drinking is involved. It's if the Chiefs cannot go a few hours without alcohol, the organization has a problem. I, for one, was sickened to see this for the second time. Some Chiefs even bragged through social media about how drunk they were afterwards. I am ashamed that players I cheered for could barely walk after they got off the bus. No doubt this spectacle made the news in other cities. I wish the Chiefs would take pride in their reputation and forgo drinking next time. The parade is a citywide party. You don't represent this diehard fan when you make the parade look like a college fraternity beer bust. That's Janet Elaine Hensel from Liberty, Missouri. Big kudos on the second half Sunday Kansas City Chiefs. While viewing your parade on Wednesday, however, I was surprised and dismayed to see that Patrick Mahomes and other players were drinking alcohol again. I felt that way 3 years ago, and I thought there would have been enough negative feedback from the parents of the children and teenagers voicing their concerns to the Chiefs administration that if it wouldn't be repeated. Next time there's a victory parade, please imbibe your alcohol privately and discreetly. Impressionable young viewers deserve better role models than what you've displayed twice. And that's from Skip Scotchdale from Overland Park. Why did the Kansas City Chiefs publish this? I did see it was like an opinion column, but like no one... I think news just needs to not be an opinion. I think news just needs to be facts about what happened. And then that way the conspiracy theory people don't have a platform, and they're like, I know what's going on. It's that fucking Biden back again. He caused that train to spill in Ohio. I don't even know that whole fucking story, dude. Wow. Ohio. I was like, have you thought about Ohio today? I'm like, no, Ohio's for lovers. That's not me. That's why I haven't heard about it. But anyways, though, people... This sounds like, you know, it's really funny. These are like Kansas City Karens. And like, how do you describe a Kansas City Karen? I'm like, if you watched The Last of Us last week, I haven't watched the new episode yet. Actually, probably by the time this episode comes out, I'll watch the new episode, but I haven't watched it yet. You know, they're like, they changed, like, was it Pittsburgh or Philadelphia for Kansas City? They changed it from the game to the show, and they made it Kansas City. I'm like, it's like the first time Kansas City has been on like a TV show in a while. I'm like, St. Louis for a while, and it was like Superstore, you know, but someone from Missouri, you know, you're like, Kansas City. And then, what show does Kansas City get on, you may be asking? The Last of Us, a post-apocalyptic future where zombies exist from fungus. Shit like that. And then you meet that chick who is like, you killed my brother. And I'm like, that's a fucking Karen right there. It's like, let my brother live. I'm like, oh, you don't get to choose this. And okay, I'm not spoiling any more of that if you haven't seen it, but fucking The Last of Us, fucking phenomenal. Pedro Pascal, I think, you know, I don't want to have sex with a guy, but I think with Pedro Pascal asked, I think if there was enough lube involved, I'd be fine with it. And then you're probably wondering, are you a top or a bottom? That's the secret. I'm not telling you. But anyways, though, so Patrick Mahomes, this is the second time he's done this in his life. He's like, you know, and I'm not saying the football thing, but like, if you're a professional football player, you're like, you know, I think about it like as a musician, like, you know, what would be the greatest thing? Like, what's the highest achievement of, like, that of like as a player, you know, as a team? And you're like, Super Bowl, like that's like, you know, music people are like the Grammys, and like I've sold out like Madison Square Garden, you know, like people think about it that way. Like this is it, and like they're celebrating, and they're drinking alcohol again. I'm like, first of all, I'm going to tell you this: if you're a professional athlete, you are really not getting drunk a lot. Like you're basically sober a lot, because there's no way, like, you can be like, you know, let's say you have a practice, and like you do a practice, you're working on getting better at something and stuff like that. So mentally, physically, that really drains you. If you're adding alcohol on top of that, like you're waking up with a hangover. I'm like, you know, like I don't get hangovers. I'm like, you will eventually. Young whippersnappers. So like, you know, you have a hangover, and like you can't do practices and games and stuff like that with like hangovers. Like you have to realize like hangovers, like younger you can fight it out, but like the older you get, you can't be doing like, oh, I'll just drink a little, but like you're not gonna like get really bad, you know. It's just you know,
This is the type of guy you get.
that's how you do it. So like these guys are they won the game, you know. They won the biggest game. They won enough to win the big game. They're like they're gonna celebrate and drink a lot. I'm like, you have to understand, they're probably not drinking a lot. Like you can get away with it like weed. Weed's the only one you could probably get away with it because it's not as bad when you wake up. But like, you know, like just let them party. You know, shut the fuck up. Like, and that's the thing I want to tell you. Get a fucking hobby. Maybe that's the thing. Like, stop worrying about people who did the best thing in their career, celebrating and drinking a lot. Okay, and if your kids don't like drinking, let them be homeschooled. You know what I'm saying. All right, last article we got going on today. From Southern Living, yeehaw! Garth Brooks announced he is releasing an album of duets in 2023, meaning we're going into our favorite segment.
Cool stuff. Slick stuff.
So here's what we got. Let's read it. Hence, a second one with wife Trisha Yearwood could also become a reality. Country music fans have a new album to look forward to in 2023 because Garth Brooks is putting out an album of duets this year. While details are sparse, fans are getting very excited. Brooks and his wife, country star Trisha Yearwood, broke the news of the upcoming album during Brooks' online weekly chat show Inside Studio G. When a viewer asked if they were working on any new duets, Yearwood turned to her longtime spouse and asked, "What to?" Brooks replied, "Well, I, of course, want to, but..." Clearly playing into it a bit, Trisha laughed and answered, "But..." My Trisha Yearwood voice is better than the Garth voice. "What? But..." Garth then clarified, "There's already a duet record coming out this year." While Yearwood verified the news, saying, "That's true." Don't get too excited quite yet. The couple may have been teasing while fans have long wanted Brooks and Yearwood to make an entire album of duets. It's unclear if this is that album. That's because after Brooks spilled the beans, Yearwood said this, "Maybe after the Duets album, we can work on our duet album." It's a bit of a head scratcher, leaving it unclear if the upcoming Duets album will be Brooks singing with other artists or will be the fan-anticipated duet album between Yearwood. Either way, we're thinking Miss Yearwood, as Brooks calls her, might make an appearance. Luckily, fans have plenty of Brooks and Yearwood duets to keep them occupied while waiting to see what the album comes of this year. The couple has collaborated on many memorable duets already, including In Another Eyes, Where the Road Leads, Whiskey to Wine, What Gave Me Away, and Like We Never Had a Broken Heart, to the name of a few. Hopefully that will tide their adoring fans over. I've been getting a lot, and I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this now. I've been getting a lot of messages. We'll say messages, or not messages. Follows from bot accounts that are mimicking Garth Brooks. Now, I'm not lying when I say at least 50 have followed me on Instagram. Why would they do this? I made a really funny comment on Christmas. I commented on Garth's Instagram. It was like, I wish I could spend Christmas with my dad, Garth, but you ate him. And it just got a lot of likes. And now fake Garth accounts are following me too. So I do have to say here, I do not plan on suiciding myself in the near future, in the near timeline. I'm doing fine. So just letting y'all know that I do not plan on suiciding myself. Or deading myself, I do not plan on that. So, but yeah, I'm getting a lot of Garth followers on Instagram, bot Garth accounts. Do they work for him? I don't know, but I've been getting the message out to a lot of people. It's not, I'm just saying, it's probably not good for me right now. It's probably not good for me here in the Oval Office. That's real. But the Duets album, so I guess he's doing, so what it sounds like with the second comment, either throwing us off, which is highly true, that very much could happen, or this Duets album is going to feature multiple different artists, and it's kind of like, I do actually like them duetting together. I think it's cool in their like older years, because I think like I don't want to hear new Garth songs, you know. But like I like this idea of like they cover a bunch of songs and shit like that. I think that'd be so cool. I'm like, they have the money, like they could do it. Even they're like, you're not gonna make much money off of this, G. And you're like, well, you know, I tell you what, man, the fans want to hear it, and if they don't hear it, it's gonna be a rough day. But no, I guess it's gonna be multiple people. I don't know. Let's think about the weirdest combination for a Garth feature. Who's the guy from Limp Bizkit? Fred Durst. They get fucking Garth Brooks featuring Fred Durst. This one isn't going to be funny in anyone, but Garth Brooks featuring Adam Lazzara of Taking Back Sunday. Garth with a bunch of emo. Oh man, now I want to do like Garth with emo singers. Who should Garth Brooks feature with? But they're emo singers. Garth is going to be a featured artist, but he's going to be with you. Fucking. I don't know if we're going to consider this emo or not. Garth Brooks feature. What did I forgot my. What was it? Fucking. This is fucking to Garth Brooks, but featuring an emo singer. What was? Oh no, Garth Brooks featuring Rivers Cuomo of Weezer. I don't know if that counts, but fucking made me lose my train of thought. Garth Brooks featuring Rivers Cuomo. I could see a Billie Joe Armstrong collab, but Green Day. I'll do that collab. Garth Brooks featuring Pete Wentz, Fall Out Boy, or Patrick Stump. Well, if it's a singing duet, it would have to be Patrick. So, but I think Pete Wentz would be a funnier sentence, like Garth Brooks featuring Pete Wentz. And I'm not Googling emo singers too. I just have to know. I'm like, was it Tyson Ritter of the All American Rejects? Is just like fucking Garth Brooks featuring Tyson Ritter. These are fun. These are fun things. What emo singer do you think should make a collaboration with Garth Brooks? Because I would actually be very curious to know. I'm just thinking the ones off like the top of my head, like you know, like the name of the singers that I know. Let's say fucking. Garth Brooks featuring Adam Lazzara, that's it. But anyways, tell me who do you think Garth should feature on his Duets album, because I really do want to know. Have you ever been out in public and thought, hey, look at that fat guy, only for it to turn out to be a mirror and you are in fact the fat guy? That was the moment that kickstarted me into becoming the greatest health expert the world has ever seen. But I wasn't born being built different. Like Joe Cocker before me, I get by with a little help from my friends. And my friends happen to be today's sponsor, FNX Fitness. FNX Fitness is committed to creating innovative supplements of the highest quality that provide focus for a productive morning, energy to thrive all day, performance supplements to reach new goals, unique sleep and recovery formulas to support any sport, and healthy supplements to support an active lifestyle for years to come. I also really enjoy their clothing line that makes you look good while you work out as well. Another thing I love about FNX Fitness is that with every purchase, they donate a gallon of water to a child in need. Start working out smarter, not harder, by using the link in our description today. You can save 15% on your purchase. Go save 15% on some of the best supplements out there when using the link in our description. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you're at the beach, you aren't going there naked, letting everyone see your little shrunken PP from being in the water. No, you're wearing some sort of clothing to cover up your privates. So why would you let companies you buy products from have access to the privates of your credit cards? That's where today's sponsor, Privacy, becomes the clothing for your credit card information. Privacy is the first payment product that keeps your personal information private while being even more convenient than using a physical payment card online. Privacy empowers you to protect your physical card information. Each merchant you share your card information with puts you more at risk to hackers or data breaches. Why not use a privacy card instead? By creating a virtual card with privacy for each merchant you shop with, your physical card is safe and secure. Privacy cards can be paused or closed at any time, preventing any future transactions from being authorized. Privacy cards can also be single-use, meaning they close after just one authorized transaction. One of my favorite ways to use privacy is for a service with a free trial that requires you to put in a credit card to sign up. But wait, there's more. By using the link in our description, you can get $5 to spend anywhere. That's money you get to use. So start paying the smart way with Privacy. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show.
What?
Okay, I read something on the internet, and yeah, you scroll Reddit, you see what's going on, and shit like that. And I don't know, maybe I just want to rant about something. Maybe a more sober self, maybe something thought provoking is going on here. But I'm here now, and I'm gonna give you everything you want to know. So I'm going to read this. I saw it on Reddit. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to talk about it. That's what I'm doing. It's been a minute, but I kind of get the gist. I broke up with my boyfriend over the Tubi Super Bowl commercial. I, 23, female, broke up with my boyfriend, 25, male. Over the reaction he had to me over the commercial. For those of you who are unaware, during the Super Bowl commercial, Tubi, a streaming app, played a prank where they made it look like someone was changing the TV over to their app. I'm sure that in many households it caused chaos. It was a funny event, but not in mine. My boyfriend thought I was the one changing the channel and began screaming at me violently, calling me things that I don't even want to write down. Even as I told him it was a commercial, he ignored me and kept blowing up at me and punching a hole in our living room. God damn it, it's a page. Punched a hole in our living room wall.
That's rough, buddy.
He eventually realized that what actually happened and awkwardly apologized, and I was so disgusted over his reaction to a 15-second commercial. I feel like if you can't keep your anger in check and get that violent over something so small, I don't want to be around for it. We'd been together for over a year, living together for the past 2 months, and I've known him to get angry at things sometimes, but this really took me off guard, and I can't forget how unsafe I felt around him during this. In the morning, I took some of my things and I'm now staying at my parents' house. I left him a note telling him how I felt and that I didn't think we were going to work out long term. He's been messaging and called me repeatedly. My parents told me I'm overreacting since he had a bit to drink and the Super Bowl gets everyone riled up, but I don't feel I am. I don't think it's normal to be that angry. I had like a burp going into that. Okay. So I'm starting to think, I don't know. Okay, the Schweezy that posted this, I don't know what he was thinking I was talking about, but like current Schweezy feels like this is fake. Like I feel like this is fake. I feel like I got bamboozled. It's okay, everyone gets bamboozled at some point in their life. The problem is, not all of us are allowed to see it. It was a funny first thought and a bad last thought. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. It was though, so yeah, starting to think this is fake. But anyways, though, maybe I should react to this as if. Okay, I'm just saying as if this was real. Let's pretend this is real because I think that's how I was supposed to react to this when I initially put this in the podcast. So I'm starting to think, all right, we're pretending it's real. I'm like, not the guy. We're pretending everything is genuine about this. I have to react to how this goes down. All right, your boyfriend is watching the Super Bowl by himself. Now, most people have parties, and if I get invited to a party, I go, but it's like a legit like effort for someone to want me to come. Like they are like, we need you to come. Like, we know you're a soul that exists. We don't really like your current soul, but we just need you in the room. We're talking about that. So we're talking about how this boyfriend is by himself on Super Bowl Sunday while his girlfriend is just, in the kitchen doing girl things and shit like that. This sounds like a fucking fan fiction now that I'm starting to talk about it. And the Tubi commercial comes on. Now, at this point, you are in there. We're assuming there's no party going on. Your boyfriend has 0 friends. That's why you moved in so quickly to this situation. he thought you were switching it over to Tubi, that you're going to watch something else. And that is funny to do once, and it's less than 30 seconds. The way, this Tubi commercial, like the Tubi commercial, it had the joke, and you got the joke and shit like that. There wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough processing time for like normal people to actually, go ahead and like process what was going on. You were just sitting there stunned. Like if you've had traumatic news ever given to you, what happens, you're just like, I mean, everyone reacts differently, but everyone agrees that you're just stunned at this. When I heard my father was dying, you get that phone call and you're just like, and you're just like, your brain's like, okay. And I'm more of like a person who like will say, okay. I'm like, okay, thanks for the news. Don't talk to me. And I'm like, then trying to process it, and you're just, yeah, and you have to process things. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. The Tubi commercial should not be similar to hearing the news your dad is dying. I'm just saying. So I just don't think it's enough time. So I think the time frame is it. Your boyfriend got mad and punched a hole in the wall. Now, benefit of the doubt, we got to give it the benefit of the doubt. He didn't punch you. I know we're going to say, well, the fact he was punching a wall at a situation that wasn't even remotely regarding to me shows he has an image. I'm like, well, yes, you're 100% going to be correct about that. But at the same time, like, he didn't hurt her. Like, he did not, you're going on the possibility. You're going on the possibility here of her. So, like, you're thinking about that. I'm just saying, I honestly think that guy, if he's punching walls, like, he's going to punch her. That's my opinion. But, like, you have to go by, like, the statement. You can't go by, like, possibilities. Or, like, you can be like, well, there's a possibility he could do this and shit like that. Anyways, I don't know what to say. The entire time of the Tubi commercial, too, I watched She-Hulk, and they went to the Disney Plus, like, Marvel menu, and then she went into, like, another frame in it, which is a callback to, like, like, how comics were made and shit like that, which was really funny. And I was like, but, like, I was watching it, and my mom wanted to watch it with me, and she was like, for a moment, I was like, did I press the remote or something? And it's just that short of a period. You're like, no, I didn't. Like, that was a good one. I liked it. It's not enough time for you to be fucking punching a wall. Like by the time I saw the Tubi, I'm like, God damn it, they got me. But I'm like, I don't think, like, well played, fellas, for me. That's how I react to it. And then, like, then your reaction is anger. Like that's probably why you don't have any friends at your Super Bowl party. We're going to be honest. That's probably why they don't have that many friends. You don't have that many friends there if I'm talking about it. But yeah, if I'm going to feel like this is a real situation, there should have been signs before this. 2 months. In 1 month, you're supposed to figure the signs out if your husband wants to beat the shit out of you. We're just saying. But yeah. And also, like, I want to assume you're not in Philadelphia. Actually, this sounds like very much a couple in Philadelphia. Or Kansas City. Doesn't really sound like a Kansas City couple. Kansas City more like sexless marriage, Philadelphia. I feel like you could, if you're from Philadelphia, I'm like, yeah, I honestly, we're at the end of this segment or whatever. And now I'm going to say, like, I just realized if, like, you're the Super Bowl thing, you're from Philadelphia, your husband has no friends, or your partner has no friends, like, he's a big football fan, but he doesn't have other football friends, Yeah, that's a red. Like, you're too dumb to have seen that coming. Now, if you're from anywhere else in the world, maybe except Kansas City, we can think a little. I don't know what to think about Kansas City. I don't think Kansas City people do that. But yeah, any other place in the world, I don't know. Just be single. Fucking don't get married to anyone. I don't give a shit. It's the fucking Super Bowl. I don't give a shit. But anyways, a fucking dude getting mad at a commercial. Like, you really, like, your balls are that small, I mean, pee is storing the balls. And it's like, I can't store a lot of pee. It's because your balls are small. You got these little small bald men being mad at everything, I don't have time to deal with them. Oh, okay. So I fucking watched Super Size Me in the past week. Everyone's gonna be like, "Why'd you watch Super Size Me? Didn't you watch it in middle school?" Like, yes, I did watch it in middle school. I watched it in middle school health class. My middle school health, like, I really think, true story here. High school health class, it was just a semester. It was just like, it was like one semester of your life and whatever. And they went over sex, they went over general health, they went over, they went over the sex shit and whatever, drinking and shit like that, you know. They went over all of it, and you're like, and it was like actually really good. And they're like, and they really tried to like let you know, like the stats is like, it was taught by a woman. She had a very deep, she had a man voice, but it was a woman and shit like that. So I actually generally got a good health class just because it was like the gym teachers rotating out, and like she taught this sport. I'm like, getting good health, like getting good like sex health talk from like a woman who's like, when it's not weird and it's not like sex is a sin and you'll go to hell, you know, it's actually pretty good. Anyways, though, middle school health was weird because it was like, ask the questions, and they're like, can I get an STD from jerking off? And they're like, no, you can't. Can I get, what happens if I grow a catfish tail on my dick? It was like, you know, like kids would ask questions like that. It was just like unhinged. Middle school was unhinged. And, you know, like we had a weird sex talk, you know, and I true story, I had a shirt that said like, I heart chocolate. I got it at like this Kansas City chocolate store. It was in like, I can't remember, it was some sort of museum, like a kids type of thing. But anyways, I was wearing that on stage, and they were like, oh, you got an it was like this woman talking about how she had an STD or something like that, and I got up on stage for that. I don't know how that relates to anything. But anyways, my middle school was unhinged. I think that was like the unhinged period of existence, because like I got booed for volunteering for one of this shit. You know, I don't know what to say. But, you know, and then like our health class was unhinged. It was like abstinence, sex talk in middle school, but like normal sex talk in high school, like, or good sex talk in high school, what I had. And we talked about that. Yeah, so it's like just like health class. But middle school, they're like, let's just fucking watch Super Size Me, you know? And, you know, as a grown person, I don't want to say, I feel it's weird saying I'm an adult, but like as a grown person, you know, watching Super Size Me now, I'm like, the Morgan Spurlock guy, he's kind of weird. This experiment's kind of weird too. It's kind of just making you, it's kind of just like shock factor and stuff like that. If you watch, there's like this one like strange addiction type show, and it's like they show you how much like, oh, you only eat French fries every day, always. This is how much you eat in a year. I'm like, it's supposed to shock you how much you eat, but it's like, as a rational person, I'm like, this is 365 days of me needing to consume food, and specifically one food, to exist. So, like, if you're not smart, you're like, oh my God, that's so much. But if you're a normal person, I'm like, yeah, I assume I probably eat that much shit in a year. I'm like, that makes sense. So it's back in those times. Where they try to do scare tactics, and that's what Super Size Me is. According to Wikipedia, this is what Super Size Me the movie is. Super Size Me is a 2004 American documentary film directed by and starring Morgan Spurlock, an American independent filmmaker. Spurlock's film follows a 30-day period from February 1st to March 2nd, 2003, during which he ate only McDonald's food. The film documents the drastic effects on Spurlock's physical and psychological health and well-being. It also explores the fast food industry's corporate influence, including how it encourages poor nutrition for its own profit and gain. So yeah, that's basically it. And so you watch this whole documentary, stuff like that. The one thing I've not mentioned so far in this little segment we're doing is that I recently learned that Morgan Spurlock, and it's not that long ago, he said, I haven't been sober a week in 30 years. So theoretically, considering that I'm not 30 yet, and I was born in 93, and this took place in like 2003, 2004, it's not even 30 yet. Like, I was 10 when you did the experiment, Morgan. So, like, he was lying. So, like, I recently learned about this. I'm like, so alcohol is a struggle. And I'm like, I think I kind of know the side effects of what you're going through. So, you know, you look at that, like vomiting, your stomach feeling upset, and shit like that. And not to mention in his lab work. And, like, this had to be completely kerfuffled. Because I'm just telling you, the last time I had a real doctor's visit, that's not like a medication refill, like a real doctor's visit, they said there was something going weird on with my liver, and I was drinking a lot at that point. I can't imagine it's gotten better or worse, or it's probably the same. I've probably been good enough to keep it the same. You know, and that's that. And, you know, and I know it's drinking. Like, I know that. Fucking Morgan Spurlock was like, I'm eating McDonald's every day, and my liver is bad. Like, that's legit. Like, what happened in the fucking thing? It was like, I'm eating McDonald's every day, now my liver's bad. I'm like, no, you were drunk the whole time. Like, day 2, he was vomiting out the car. They had that in the documentary. He was vomiting out his car. It was crazy. I probably not gone over the rules yet. Here are the rules. I wrote down the rules. He must fully eat 3 McDonald's meals per day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He must consume every item on the McDonald's menu at least once over the course of 30 days. He managed this in 9 days. Yeah, it's not that big. McDonald's really doesn't have that. McDonald's doesn't have mozzarella sticks anymore, but, you know, they don't. He must only ingest items that are offered on the McDonald's menu, including bottled water. All outside consumption of food is prohibited. He must supersize the meal if offered, but he cannot request to supersize on his own. He will attempt to walk about as much as a typical United States citizen based on just figure 5,000 standardized distance steps per day, but he did not closely adhere to this. Yeah, well, clearly you fucking know if you didn't watch this. Dude, supersize, it was just fucking insane. It was just like, it's like health class. Like, you know, I'm an adult now, you know, like, imagine going to your 9 to 5, and you're like, okay, we are 9 to 5. Imagine going to your 9 to 5, and you're watching a fucking guy eat McDonald's for 30 days, and then you just vomit out his window. Like, you're like, why is this my job? You know, like, you have dumb meetings, but, like, even the dumbest meetings at least have a meaning. You're like, hey, don't sexually harass my coworkers. And you're like, you have a whole presentation like that. You could have just, and some guys are like, need to see the video because they're fucking dum-dums. But, like, then you're like, hey, you could just told me, like, hey, don't sexually harass your coworkers, and I would have gotten the memo, and I could have missed that meeting. I don't know. This shit is fucking weird that I watched this in health class. That's the fucking rule of what I had, you know, I fucking do. Like, we watched it, and it was like there was some health thing, like, you gained weight. Like, I assume that you're going to gain weight if you eat McDonald's every day, you know, and this guy did not even, like, get enough exercise or whatever. Like, you know, like, there's guys who work at McDonald's who are like, yeah, I'm healthy and I eat McDonald's every day. And it's like, yeah, because you know how fucking nutrition works. Like, this, like, documentary, like, gave no light to nutrition. It was, like, fucking hilarious. Like, it was like, and I'll also say, because I'm not really keto, but I do keto. I did do keto, like, very religiously all of 2020, which was a waste. And it really does help you lose weight and, like, feel better, but also, like, eating bread makes you feel good. So, you know, but, like, yeah, I do believe keto is the answer, but it's just hard to, there's a lot of answers to it where it's like, well, it's like, it's questionable. Like, is it realistic? Like, can a person do this? I'm like, if you're disciplined enough, you'll do it. But if you're not, you know, it's whatever. Yeah. Anyways, though, my health class in high school is weird. And they had me watch can we talk about, like, you know, I watched Super Size Me. Did everyone watch Super Size Me in school? And I know I'm a fat person. Like, I'm, you know, like, I was a man born in a woman's body. You know, like, I believe that. but I'm like, I'm a fat person. I'm like a fat person, born in a fat person's body, you know. That's why when I watched this at school, I got really hungry. Can we talk about that? How when I watched Super Size Me in high school, I got really hungry for McDonald's. And then they got rid of the Super Size Me. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, the drink, I like a Diet Coke from McDonald's, so, you know, clean there, health-wise. But, like, some extra fries, extra fucking fries, yeah, that's pretty cool. I feel like the soda is worse than the fries, though, right? I have to be right there. Like, I know potatoes are very, like, carb, starchy, you know, type shit. But, like, Super Size Me fries could not have been... were definitely not as bad as, like, a supersized Coke. Like, if you drank a Coke... You know, I just feel like soda we should just figure out, like, no sodas. Like, soda is so fucking bad. You know, like, I'll drink a Mountain Dew. I love Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew's my favorite, and I'm a redneck. I'm sorry. But, I love Mountain Dew, but, like, daily, though, like, I'll drink Diet Cokes daily. I love Diet Coke. And shit like that. I like Coke. I really like Coke. But, it's so weird how Coke is... Okay, Coke is the original soda. It's the sugary soda. And you assume they made Diet Coke for like, hey, I like Coke, but I don't like the sugar. You know, I'd like to, you know, drink this. You know, and they figured out an artificial sweetener that, like, is pretty fucking addicting. Like, Diet Coke, it's like, you know, you get a normal soda, I'm like, I'll get one, like, maybe one refill. Diet Cokes, you can get a couple. It's fucking weird. And so, you know, like, I like this soda, but I need it for my diet. Because, like, you know, like, women were getting fat, you know. Like, this is probably, like, a true thing. Like, in the 50s, you know, like, women were getting fat. And we're like, diet soda. So you won't be a fat pig for your husband. Shit like that. So, like, that's basically how I assume diet soda turned out. And then, like, Diet Coke is such a brand on its own. It's so weird. So Coke made Coke Zero, which is zero sugar Coke. But that's also what Diet Coke is. And now I'm trying to figure out, but, like, I'm also, and, you know, you assume, like, oh, so Diet Coke and Coke Zero are the same thing? That's the fucking problem, is I can't tell the difference. Coke Zero has a different taste than Diet Coke, because I feel like I'm more masculine when I drink Coke Zero than when I drink the fucking Diet Coke. And it's like the same goddamn shit. Like, I have to imagine they literally do taste the same. Like, I could literally do a taste test right now, and I could do it. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to have to draw. I think they're the same fucking shit. It's the same fucking shit. And maybe the Coke Zero is a little bit larger, because you're like, do you want to drink diet soda and feel like a man still? I'm like, you know. Also, soda's just, like, so fucking bad for you. And McDonald's makes the best fucking Coke sodas, you know? You know, shit like that. Shit like that. I don't know where this segment's fucking going. All right, so I'm going to talk about a couple more segments I wanted to hear about. So, Jared Fogle had a whole scene in this film. Jared Fogle, before he was the child porn guy, Jared Fogle was a guy who ate Subway and lost a lot of weight. Now, you know, I don't know the true story, but I'm going to assume Jared lost a lot of weight, but, like, Subway, he ate Subway, you know. He ate Subway and he lost a lot of weight. And both, you know, you could even say this guy ate McDonald's, but he lost a lot of weight. And you're like, oh, he ate super healthy for 3 months, then ate McDonald's once. So, like, so he ate McDonald's and lost a lot of weight. So that's what I'm meaning here. So Jared Fogle lost a lot of weight, and then Subway, I want to be like, this is a great idea. We're going to get people to fucking buy our goddamn sandwiches in every gas station and truck stop across America. And if you're not a touring musician, or I'm not, and you go to a lot of truck stops, if you're a lot lizard, hit me up. But if you do that, you're kind of weird. But as a guy who goes to a lot of truck stops for music, yeah. Welcome to Subway, eat fresh, or whatever, you know, shit like that. And so it was, like, funny. And then you just had Jared Fogle being, like, a normal guy. be like who Jared was, who his public performances before he was known as the fucking child porn guy. Like, god damn, dude, Jared Fogle, like, the fall from grace is like, his grace was the guy who lost a lot of weight eating Subway. That's the grace. But, like, then he created a child porn empire, and then he, like, that was the fall from grace. Like, I don't even know, dude. But it was just so fucking funny. And, and then Jared Fogle, he went out on his little presentation thing in the documentary, and he's like, my biggest vice was food. I'm like, Jared, your biggest vice was not food. Your biggest vice was, as the abbreviation would say, C as in caterpillar, P as in pineapple. That's the word I feel like would be your biggest vice, Jared. I think you're like, I deserve my place in hell. I'm like, you deserved your place in jail. Dude, jail does not... The child touchers in jail. Like, imagine, like, child toucher really is the worst thing you could be in your life. Like, like, I thank God every day I'm attracted to children, Like, but, like, you're like, it's like, my precious. Anyways, we're not going to get into that. Oh, no, they went to another guy. Now we're just talking about the shit just made me laugh. The fucking guy get ready to get his gastro bypass surgery. He's fucking like, yeah, I drank so much soda once I was blind. I was blind for a week. And it's like, he was blind for a week from being fucking fat. And I was fucking laughing my ass off. It's like, this dude is fucking like, I was drinking so much. I got so fat I was blind for a week. I'm like, what the fuck? I believe it, but like, what the fuck do you do to get into that situation to start off with? Like, it's fucking crazy. I was laughing my ass off, dude. It was some funny shit. Yeah, those are my two favorite parts. But also, I just want to remind you all, I watched this in middle school. I was in middle school. Like, this documentary came out, and I was in middle school. And then they showed it in middle schools. I watched Morgan Spurlock get a prostate exam. It was blurry. So does that make it better? No. It makes it a little bit fun. That's why, like, when they bleep out words, it's funnier to millennials and shit like that. Like, this shit we went, like, I was the tail end of it. Like, this is the shit we went through. It was like the unrefined thing the Gen Z kids got. That's like, I was the tail end of the millennials. That's the shit I got. Oh yeah, and Morgan Spurlock had like naked chicks all over the walls of his apartment. He had a fiance, and he was also an alcoholic throughout the entire thing. Make sure you watch it with those goggles on, that he was an alcoholic. Go into this show knowing I'm an alcoholic and just have fun. You know what? Fuck it. I don't give a shit about you. Yeah, watch it. It's on Peacock. I had to watch ads before I watched it because it's free with my phone with ads, and I'm not paying for it. So thank you, Peacock, for having supersized me. I'm not going to watch the second one, folks. We're not watching the second one. Like, it's not going to happen. Have you ever cracked open a cold one with the boys? The vibes are on, then all of a sudden, you are out of cold ones? Though the vibes are still on, the vibes will soon go off because you are out of cold ones. There's no need to drive when you're under the vibes. That's why today's sponsor, Drizly, is here to make sure that the vibes continue. Drizly gets all your favorite beer, seltzer, wine, whiskey, and much more delivered directly to your home. With their easy-to-use mobile app, we are getting one step closer to never leaving our homes. You know it's saying something when it's being praised as the Amazon for liquor. Drizly is my go-to app for getting all the booze I need so I can do other things. So using our link in the description today, you can save $5 off your first purchase through Drizly. Drizly has proprietary ID verification technology that it provides to its retail partners that allows drivers to scan IDs for more than a barcode to make sure the purchaser is over 21 years old in the US and of legal drinking age in Canada. Retailers on Drizly may have a minimum order or delivery fee. So using our link in the description, get $5 off your first order with Drizly. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. You're not a boomer who still goes to what our ancient civilizations called a store. You buy everything on the internet like a modern individual. What if I could tell you that you could be saving more on your purchases by only making a few clicks on your computer? That's where today's sponsor, Honey, will change your life. Honey is a free browser extension you can download using the link in our description of this episode. Honey searches the entire internet for promo code, coupon codes, free shipping, and anything else that will save you money when buying things online. It is 100% free, and at no point will you have to pay for it with all of those many microtransactions. It's as simple as pressing a single button and you can start saving money. Not using Honey is basically throwing money away that could be saved for more important things. I recently had to get business cards for myself, and Honey literally saved me 60% on a pack of 500 business cards. It was amazing. Add the Honey extension to your browser today for free by using the link in our description of this episode. And when you use our links, you directly support this show. So it's time for our segment we like to call our table, where where the original name was fucking Ask Schweezy, and where you ask me questions and I answer questions. All the questions that you have, and that's the way I see it. So I'm going to answer questions, and you're going to listen to me answer them, and you're going to be like, if I ever get into that problem in the future, I can just solve that shit myself. I'm like, yes, you can, because I was the one who helped you out there.
I like that.
Anyways, though, let's just get into the questions here that we have. Do women enjoy penetration? Your mom did last night. It's pretty good. Do guys actually like when girls squirt? I squirt when I masturbate, but I find it embarrassing, and I can't imagine people would like it.
What?
That's rough, buddy.
All right, so you are a squirter. It's so much fun to bring up, because, in my mind, it's like some girls squirt, but just assume she's not a squirter. It's just don't. And if there's the guy's like, I squirt on me, I'm like, just piss on him. That's the answer. You just gotta piss on him. Do guys like it when a girl squirts? Okay. Let's take the situation involved. Of what we're going to answer. Do guys like when a girl squirts? Oh, you're so we share a bed. You're just going to go and masturbate on our bed. I want to say jerk off. Can we say jerk off for women when they masturbate? Are we allowed to say that? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to say jerk off. So you're jerking off on the bed and you just fucking get stained. You're like, I have to sleep on your side. Why? There's a wet spot on mine. I'm like, fuck you for not including me in that shit. Because, I don't know, you just want to be included with the squirting, So I think that's the real answer. Honestly, that's probably the actual answer to your question you got there. Do guys actually like it when a girl squirts? Now, it's kind of like, I think some women have to think about it a little bit like jizzing. It's some women are cool with it. To an extent, cool with it, a normal person would be cool with it. Okay, you're in jizz, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna give you a handy, and I really enjoy it when you squirt. Or some women, the coolest women, the women who need to DM at TheSchweezy on Instagram, that you're like, I like it when a guy comes in my mouth, and shit like that. So that, I'm thinking about that, or it's come on my tits and shit like that. Trying to think about that. But to be honest with you, guys do enjoy it when you squirt, but it has to be with them, when it's with them, they really enjoy it. The idea is I was jerking myself off, and then I squirt all over the sheets. You're like, God damn it, that's not fun. We all know that is not fun. But you're talking about when you're together and you squirt, yeah, no. That's cool. We're into that, And it's something to think about. If you talk to porn stars, there's this whole idea of are fluids being exchanged? That's how BDSM porn gets off easier, It's just we're on a wild fucking ride. Life is a fucking highway. I want to ride it all night long. Can we just be honest about that, dude? For real though, life is a highway. I'm gonna ride it all night long. Like, it's fucking life. And then hopefully you die. That's the nice thing about the highway. If you're like, I don't want to be on this highway anymore, it's like, kill yourself. It's pretty easy. God damn it! What the hell am I? What the hell is like fucking? I don't even know what the fuck is going on with me. Anyways, though, we're gonna move on to our next question. What the fuck?
What?
Is my meat supposed to be over twice as small without an erection? I measured my penis a few days ago when I had an erection, and it was just about 7 inches. But when I don't have an erection, my penis looks like I never hit puberty, and it comes at 3 inches. Is my penis small for an erection or big for an erection and small without it? I'm confused. Welp. I'm confused. Welp. Okay. Here's the fucking problem. Like, you know, people talk about how, like, pornography is a problem. And then sometimes you're like, shut the fuck up. But other times you're like, you do have a point. This is when you do have a point. Because most of the guys in porn just have big dicks. And to be honest with you, as a guy who's been with women, who's okay, you know, like, I'm fine. Like, I want to, you know, you could talk shit about me as much as I want, but you're like, what's that dick size? It's like, erect, it's great. It's fine. It's not massive, but it's fine. When it's soft, it's embarrassing. Like, I want to give you that knowledge. I want to give you that life of what you want to live. Just like that. But yeah, porn guys, their dicks are not growers. Like, they're just showers. So, like, they're just like, it's just a floppy thing like that. And yeah. And then women online are like, do dicks float in water? I'm like, well, most dicks are pretty small and they barely do anything. But when they're hard is when you want to be interested in them. Yeah, dude. You have what I would call a you are underage, so I want to say from the comments, before I knew you were underage, you said you were 7 inches hard, but 3 inches soft. Yeah, here's the thing. If you want to talk about science, your soft dick is not necessary all the time. And that's why it's small when you're soft and hard when you're large. If you know what I'm saying. That's going to be the best answer for you to know. I mean, like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to say. So. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just like letting my head clear. I'm like, that was a little too much. Okay. All right, here we go. Do guys really like to be called daddy? I'm a guy in my early 30s, and I was hooking up with a girl last week, and while she was going down on me, she said, "Do you like that, daddy?" And I turned flaccid almost as quick as a non-Newtonian fluid does when you stop slapping it. Jesus Christ.
What?
I find it horrible. Everything that seems to have leaked from the porn world into the real world is such a turnoff for me. Fake moaning, fake bodies, fake orgasms, cringy name calling like daddy or bull or lack of foreplay. Every sex event has started a facial. What the fuck are you typing right now? But it seems that this is all a huge turn on for many other men. If I do watch porn, I always look for natural amateur stuff because of this. Something with emotion, power, enjoyment for both parties. So am I the outlier, or is it just a blown up reception that most men are into on Porntastic Experience of Sex. I can't even remember what the first part of it was. You do women like being called daddy. Oh my God. What am I doing with my life? You just think you're like, you know, my mom's having a conversation with people. And you're like, what's your son doing? You're like, he's working at this company, doing good. And you're like, what did your son do, Nancy? And she's like, well, you know, he this week he talks about how some guys are weird, that women call them daddy during sex. And it's like we've come full circle on everything that I do in my life. I was hooking up with a girl. Okay, so you're in your 30s. Okay, so I'm in my 30s, or I'm less than 6 months away from being in my 30s. I'm just accepting the 30s part. So I get where you're at. And you probably hooked up with a young chick of age, consensual. You know, we're not hating on that. We're not hating on that shit. And she was going down on you, which is like, you know, I remember the days when guys would be like, I get a blowjob 2 times a year. You know, like those were the guys. And now it's like, you know, I need foreplay. Guys are like, I need foreplay. It's like, in foreplay is a blowjob, you know, and shit like that. So like, it's funny just like how there's 2 generations like that. I'm also in the generation, I'm like, a blowjob's basically foreplay for a man. I'm like, I'm gonna agree with that, even if it's not true, and shit like that. But why do you hate daddy? Well, you're probably normal. You're clearly a normal person. It's probably a very big effect into what is going on here. But you're also not. You probably have you're probably normal. I think, honestly, like, from what it sounds like, it just sounds like you're fucking normal. You're like, she called me daddy, and I got flaccid. Because if I'm hooking up with a woman I don't know, and she calls me daddy, I'm going to laugh a little bit. Doesn't change anything else, like, flaccid hard. It doesn't change. I'm just going to laugh for a little bit, and then I'm going to get back to it. Or if I need to, hold it in as much as I can. You know, like, sometimes you have to hold it in. Sometimes funny shit happens, you have to hold it in. But yeah. Anyways, though, for the kids out there, if you're legal sex, if you're 18 or older, and you learned all your, you learned sex from porn, I don't know, I'm just gonna let you know that porn is not real. But real people are real, and just respect everyone and love one another, be kind, and be the heart of the world, because that is what we need to be. Okay. Are there a lot of people who hate people who have autism?
That's rough, buddy.
When I was in high school, I was bullied a lot by a lot of people, and I have autism. I was bullied more than most people there, I think, although I could be wrong. I haven't really been able to figure out why, but I think it's most likely because I have autism. It just makes perfect sense logically. It's one of those things that if you knew what happened to me and you were to think about it, you would probably reach the same conclusion. However, if you were to go up to the people who bully me and ask them if they hate people because they have autism, they would probably say no, because obviously that would make them look like a terrible human being, but their actions seem to be to say otherwise. I had a hard time reading that, but I'm going to try to make sense of what I'm hearing. Do people hate people specifically because they have autism? No. And your story did not make sense to me. But I thought of a sense it could make, and I'm going to go to that. Do people hate people with autism? Like, no, I don't think, like, that it's a very rare, there probably someone out there who hates you. don't even know what to say. No, like, do people without autism hate people with autism? Like, they don't, like, necessarily hate people. Normal people hate people. Now, there could be a guy who has some weird mental health problem. It's a mental health problem, but, like, who's like, I hate people with autism because of thing and shit like that. Those people exist. We have a mental health problem in the world, and I don't know how to do that. But there is like the people like, I don't hate him because he has autism. He just annoys me. Shit like that. Like sometimes like someone has a little autism and they have things like they have to slap their chest 3 times. And sometimes like he has it in a certain way, and in that certain way it's not comfortable, you know, and you're like, God damn it, how do I not deal with this shit? You know? And not dealing with people with autism is that shit. That was not a good example, but I hope it made sense. But anyways, though, like sometimes people with autism, they do certain shit, you know, and it's like, it's because they have autism, and you're like, they do it, and sometimes you accept it, and sometimes you're just like, God fucking damn it, I want to punch anyone in that. And like, that's the idea. People don't hate people with autism. Sometimes, you know, if you think about high school bullies, the reason why they like want to pick on people is problems at home and shit like that. Because like there's bullying like kids who are just like into weird, you know, into shit, you know, like that you don't like, and that's considered nerdy. And there's like kids who are nerdy because they're autistic, and normal bullies ignore them. The destined for jail bullies will definitely pick on them. Those are both very true factors. But I hope. But Cancel Schweezy, what do we say? Don't pick on fucking autistic people. God damn it, dude. Don't do that. That's fucking mean. Dude, don't do that. Don't pick on people. Don't pick on people for no reason. And you're like, the reason's because they're autistic. I'm like, don't do it because they're autistic. That's not a good reason. Make sure it's a good reason. Don't do it because of that. God damn, dude. The darkness that sometimes appears in our world. It's scary. Pretty fucking scary. Okay. Why women are encouraged to have standards for men, but men are shamed upon for having standards, especially if they like younger women. Okay, I think I've talked about like the younger women thing. It's kind of like, and I definitely think here that if we want to talk about it, you know, I'm 29. I'm almost 30, so I'm almost 29. If you're listening to the full podcast, add that to the drinking game. I don't know. But, you know, I'm 29, you know. The idea, like, as a 29-year-old in a position I am, it's easier to convince, like, a 19-year-old that I'm cool versus a 26-year-old that I'm cool. Like, if you're going to convince that, it's like, yeah, I'm adult. I do adult things. It's cool. You're like, I'm 19. That's cool. You're 26. I'm like, I do the same goddamn shit, and I'm more fun than you. So it's that's how I'd consider it. But we're talking about standards here, right? I got to answer the actual question. Standards. So I guess it's definitely the whole idea of like women have to settle, but men have to. Or men should be encouraged to have standards, but women shouldn't be. Women should settle, but men should have standards. It's very Peter Griffin. Peter and his normal, good-looking wife, and shit like that. I guess it's Family Guy type style. But I guess we're going back to like the 1950s. And, it's like. Assuming your husband made good money and good things, like he would come home and you would make him feel good. That's what you did in the 1950s. And then when you made him feel good, he made a lot of money and all of his shit. He went ahead and bought you nice things because he had so much money he didn't know what to do. And that's the situation. And if you want to make an empire and you start from nothing, being young does not help you. You have to be young, and you get old, and you're rich and famous and shit like that. And it's just easier to attract younger women that way as well. But But yeah, as women, you're required to have standards. So men were like, you need to work hard, play hard, and shit like that, make a lot of money, and that gets women. But younger women are like, yeah, just find a guy that gets a lot of money, How old is he? I don't fucking know. But yeah, that's how you do it. So that's logic for you. That's logic to how you answer questions, and that's logic to how I am as a person. What is considered a threesome? Is an Eiffel Tower considered a threesome? 2 guys and 1 girl. My boyfriend doesn't consider it to be one because the guys are not touching each other. My argument is that there are still 3 people engaging in a sex act together, hence it is a threesome. What is the consensus? Okay, so first of all, you said this is an Eiffel Tower, and you said the Eiffel Tower is 2 guys, 1 girl. I've always considered it a devil's threesome. So that's just, you're probably Gen X. I am millennial. I'm a millennial. So that's how we're going to deal with this. That threw me off guard. I could not handle that, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. Your boyfriend. Okay, so we're talking about a devil's threesome. And okay, I think I've lost track of what. So yeah, it's okay. So we have to talk about this. So we're talking about pornography. Have you seen it? Send me a good video. Anyway, we're talking about pornography, and so there are threesome categories, but there's 2 different types of threesomes. There could be more. We're not getting into it here. So we have threesomes. So we're going back to the 2 genders. I'm sorry, everyone else who has a different gender. We're going to the 2 genders for a minute. I'm sorry. Please complain somewhere. Anyways, though, we're talking 2 genders. So if we're going 2 genders, it's either 2 men or 2 women versus the man or a woman. 3 women is a threesome. 3 men, that's a threesome. And then we get to, we're putting genders in there. So porn has given us the idea of oh, all women are lesbians. And so they just all, if we have a threesome, they'll fuck each other and you'll get included and shit like that, But some women don't want to fuck other women. So, if you're let's add a third partner and she's not even at all bisexual, it's going to be a weird time for both of them. I think the show Love, is it called Love? It was a Judd Apatow show. It had Jillian Jacobs from Community, on it. And there was a scene. It was he was having a threesome, but the girls were both siblings. And you're isn't this weird? Why don't you both make out with each other? Threesomes aren't as cool as they need to be. As a man who's striving for a threesome, I can't tell you there's something that are always precious and good. You just got to get the belt and get out of there. But we're talking here. What we're talking about. You're talking Eiffel Tower, which is not the slang I use. The slang I use is a devil threesome, and that's 2 guys and 1 girl. And I guess the argument is that's a threesome, even though the 2 guys didn't fuck each other, but they were both fucking 1 chick. Okay, so I guess I want to be really technical here in what they're saying as a devil's threesome, because I guess the woman is considering a threesome is all 3 partners have sex with each other. And I never thought about it that way. I'm I feel that should technically be a threesome, but with how humans work that's not a threesome at all. A threesome is just 3 people having sex. With each other, ? But not like that. So I kind of see the logic behind it, but yeah. No, Devil's 3-Way is still a threesome. If you did gay shit with the guy, all it is you did gay shit with a guy. That's all a threesome is. But you say, me and another guy pounded a chick once, no one's going to be did you fuck him? And if they do ask you and you say no, and you're like, okay, problem answered. So it is a threesome. That's why I'm answering it. It is a threesome, but it's not gay. So I guess that's it. We got to our last question of the evening. We finally fucking finished this goddamn shit. Why do some people go for people who are so much younger than them? And a lot of people think that it's men prey on 18-year-old or 19-year-olds, but it's of course also women. Why are people so into it? Yeah, I guess women will do it, but women for the most part, and it's, we go to general, or like every woman's the same, but like when you say most women, it's like we're all animals. Like we're all adapting to shit, but we've adapted. Shut the fuck up. But women tend to be more attracted to older men because an older man will seem to have more money, have more stability and shit like that and stuff like that. That's why women are into that. But like an old man, a young guy is an old woman. It's like, I'm going to take care of this kid. It's like, I'm his new mommy and shit like that. So, yeah, you're probably a woman asking about why older men prey on young women. There's a weird situation there that I'm not going to guess. I'm not even going to get into. But, yeah, no. But yeah, and then you get to be an older guy and you're like, the more younger this woman is, the easier it is to convince her to date me. And it's not good. And that's why guys are predators. And it's not good. It's bad. And I don't like it. And they really shouldn't do it. But yeah, no. That's just the answer. It's like, the older you get, the easier it is to like try and date younger women. And like I said, don't do it. It's bad. But it's like, you're like, you just get older and you're like, these women don't know what they're talking about. They think I'm cool no matter what. It's so sad. It's the saddest fucking shit on earth. So, dating younger people, the more they age, the sadder it is. That's really all it is. That's enough silence. That's how we're ending today's episode of Cancel Schweezy, the Lord's trademark favorite podcast, but the only podcast that's going to president these nuts in your mouth.
Move, bitch, get out of my fucking way. It's Black History Month.
What you two did fucked up?
We messed that up very much completely. Thank you for listening to the show today. Follow me on social media at TheSchweezy. All my music under Schweezy, SCHWEEZY. Twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. Make sure you subscribe if you have an Amazon Prime account, so you take away $5 from Jeff Bezos, but also just support the show on Patreon. It's a great way to say thank you for being a friend. Free shit. Audio people, make sure you're checking out the YouTube page as well. We have highlights and shit like that. Share it with your friends. Just help us out. Help us infiltrate algorithms. And if you're on those audio platforms, leave us a review and give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating. So, honky you love butt drugs. Stay awesome. Believe it or not, Schweg isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. You just finished a full episode of Cancel Schweezy. You are now one of the smartest individuals who will ever exist in our world. If you like that episode, make sure you subscribe. Whether you're watching this show or listening to the show, make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified whenever we release full new episodes as well. And if you're on YouTube, smash that bell button. That way you get notified anytime we make a post over here on YouTube. Honk if you love butt drugs, and yeah, stay awesome.